Well, let's get over to Jani Yusuf, who's a member of the House of Representatives, is the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on ICT. Morning, thank you for joining us. Give us your perspective. What is the issue with the budget as far as the House is concerned? Go ahead. Did you hear the question? What is the issue with the 2013 budget as far as the House of Representatives is concerned?
The House believes that there is a budget signed by the President, so by implication there's an appropriation act in force. But the President came up with amendment, and the House made us stand known few weeks ago about the amendment. Fortunately enough, the President saw those anomalies in the presentation and last week communicated to the House a better, thorough amendment, which I believe the House will look into.
But just a couple of days, about 2 days ago, we saw what happened on the floor of the House, where it was reported that the Constitution did not anticipate an amendment to the 2030 to any budget at all. That what it anticipated was a supplementary budget. Is there any confusion over the title of the bill that was sent to the National Assembly?
Initially, yes.
What is the position of the House of Representatives now?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
What is the position of the House of Representatives now concerning the title that has been sent to the House now?
I would not sincerely give you a straight answer on that, but I'm sure, because we communicated to members on the floor by the Speaker, we are yet to even lay hand on the copy. But from the body language, everybody, because the communication was more direct, the initial one was vague at about 3 huge volumes, but the last that came now was specific on areas that the President needed amendment. So I believe the body language members who heard that communication, from what I observed on the floor, when it got until it gets to individual members, I cannot sincerely say this is the position we are taking. But the body language quite different from the initial one.
Yeah, but does the House of Reps feel, or are they under any pressure, perhaps with the impression that they're stalling this budget and 7 months into the year, the 2013 budget, it's not even passed, it's not being implemented, as it were?
The House has no doubt that the budget has been passed, that there is a budget. The fact that you have areas you want amended or something, there is no budget, and the House is not under any pressure. We were under oversight to these few days ago to ascertain the level of compliance in 2013. I'm sure in the next few weeks you will know the position of the House as part of the performance of 2013 budget so far.
Are the members of the House of Assembly not bothered that the 2012 budget was only implemented about 40%? Are you not bothered about the situation here?
Very, very bothered. If you remember very well, towards the end of last year and early part of this year, it became an issue of contention between the National Assembly and the Presidency. And at a point, at the 2013 budget, don't forget, there was a caveat. There were certain insertion into the budget insisting on budgetary releases to be as at when due. For example, it is believed that if 100 million naira is budgeted for a specific project and releases is in quarter, so we have 4 quarters in a year. We expect that the first quarter, at least 35 million naira should be released to the MD if the money is available. So from the record we had last year, the 2012 budget, we are convinced that the nation made sufficient funds required to execute the budget, but it was not implemented as at December 31st.
Now, you're talking about the quarters in the year. This is the third quarter, and it's we're in the first month of the third quarter. and you're still battling over the situation with the 2013 budget, shouldn't there be points of compromise if you're so bothered about what happened in 2012?
Listen, we are not in any way delay the budget. We have a budget. Don't assume there's a budget. The fact that you have, maybe you want 30 million naira for a project, and you are giving 20 million naira, you want the extra 10 million naira, does not stop you spending the 20 million naira you have. So we do not believe that anything is delaying the budget execution for 2013. And one or two MTs that we got to, it's so unfortunate, the pattern is still the same. The recurrent expenditure allocations are released as and when due, capital, and is being delayed a bit. So it's still the same pattern we've seen so far. But the overhead, again, it has been released as and when due sufficiently. Meanwhile, we believe overhead are supposed to be used to monitor capital projects over that. I mean, traveling, foreign, and what have you. If you have 100% overhead and you have just 20% capital, what is the overhead used for?
Do you find it a little curious that, you know, the executive arm of government is sending the National Assembly an amendment to the 2013 budget, not a supplementary budget?
I sincerely, I do not understand what informed that decision. But I am aware that the House, you remember the Minister of Finance too said something like that. The House, the Senate, and the Executive are having a collegiate approach to it. We do not forget it's one government. Whatever position we take must be in the interest of the people. We must not allow what divides us to be so much pronounced so that the people suffer. So I am convinced that in the next few days, a more agreeable position will be achieved. I am a member of the Committee on Finance. I understand the area of disagreement as per benchmark and what have you. And at the end of the day, we're able to sit down and we got an appreciable and something reasonable out of it at the end of the day.
Do you think the aim of passing the budget in 2012 has been defeated with this development now? No,
except somebody somewhere choose not to implement the budget. Don't forget one thing. Nobody is saying there is no 2013 appropriation. All the executive is saying that there are certain areas with the resources provided is not enough to execute the project we propose. And again, the House initially and the National Assembly will begin to argue, you just alluded to the fact that 2012 budget was about 30-something%. So if we have provided more than 80% of all required for projects, and it's on record for the past 5 years, you've never exceeded 40% execution. So why should it be an issue that you cannot go on? So I don't believe that it is the appropriation this difference that is delaying the execution. If there's delay, because I don't have facts to say there's delays yet. I believe that the budget is being implemented, and I want to believe so until I have contrary information.
Well, Mr. Yusuf, you know, it's in a totally unrelated matter. I don't know if you're following developments in the Senate. You saw what happened concerning the State of the Nation bill, and I don't know if you heard Senator Eta Enang saying that, you know, they should go to the Supreme Court to decide if the president, you know, can make amendments to a bill that has been passed by the National Assembly and sent to him, whether it's just for him to say no or yes, as give his assent or no, or can he also make amendments? What implications do you think, if assuming the Senate decides to go to the Supreme Court, what implications do you think this will have for the 2013 or for the budget generally, Appropriation Act?
I think whatever that happened on that way enrich our democratic culture, it will settle certain things. You don't forget, what we have is a noble experience. In as much we have about 14 years in democracy, certain things are not being tested yet. And as Africans, we are naturally oligarchy in nature. The king does not go on transfer. The word of the king has always been law. So you are now having a system of government where some people sit somewhere and say you can't go this further. We have to that culture. So going to court to me is to further strengthen our democracy. If the Senate go ahead, but I have not one thing about democracy. It gives room for compromise. It gives room for people to sit down and give and take. If the executive reach out to the National Assembly, the National Assembly that should sit down with them and they see the gray area and they feel it does not take away anything. Because at times some of these contention issues are born out of yes, ego, but you could have legal implications, you could have fundamental constitutional issues that is fueling it. But that does not mean the practitioners, those who are involved, cannot still sit down and look at this issue objectively and for the common interest of the people and come to a compromise.
So would you support going to court then?
Not yet until I have the facts. I cannot sincerely, I don't know what Italian has gone through. I don't know what we are at the House of Representatives. The letters communicated to us, we have not sat down to debate it. So I must sincerely that I can't take a stand on going to court or not yet. But I know that the House and the Senate will reach a common ground on this and communicate to the executive.
All right. Do you think the National Assembly or the House of Reps can or will demand 100% implementation of the 2013 budget?
I must sincerely tell you, I'm an economist, and I don't really sincerely know where you can have 100% of the implementation. But you might plan to, you might believe you generate around $1 billion. If you are not able to generate $1 billion, nobody will hold you responsible for not spending $1 billion. And there can be other exigencies, reasons why it cannot be done. But what we are saying that there should be substantial component. In a situation where resources are available, we wait to last quarter and certain monies are released at the last quarter. Then on the 31st, these monies are returned to the cover. And the nation is told that these are spend money. When these resources ought to have been released as at when this project will be carried out. The area that affects Nigeria, the area that will touch on the lives of Nigeria is the capital implementation, and that is what suffers most. That's our interest. That is the area of the truth. If we get capital to 670, this bickering and differences will be reduced reasonably. Because as a representative of my people, it is when capital project is being executed that my people will see the tangible effect of my presence there. Because I'm supposed to go and say, yes, we need water, and shout to the nation Nigeria for water.
Okay.
When I cry.
Your point is made. We'll have to let it go there. We were speaking with Representative Tijani Yusuf, who is a member of the House Committee on Finance, talking about the 2013 budget. Thank you for speaking with us this morning, by the way. Mr. Olusegun, what do you recommend be done now to get us out of this situation that we're in?
Yeah, it's really sad because when two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. So it's the Nigerian people that are suffering. Because, again, the National Assembly and the Federal Executive Council, they need to have a shared destiny. And really, if they have a shared destiny, most of these controversies will be reduced. And again, in Nigeria, we have this culture of not asking governments to account for the previous year's budget. Nobody does that. What we just find each year is a new budget. How did they spend the 2012 across the states, the local governments, the federal government? That should be the starting point. But this is more or less a ritual.
Okay. Bandele Olusegun is a former bank examiner. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
We'll return after this break. Please join us.